Yo, what's up, guys? WQ here, Real Alpha Gamer, and Alpha Gaming Mindset. If you want to join the journey and get better mindset stuff, hit the subscribe button. We're doing something I call skill theory, which is like getting better at improving at something. So it requires a lot of thought, and I think it's cool and fun. It's relates to speedrunning because I don't think it really matters where you start. The point is to get better at what you're doing, be the best you can be, and not necessarily or so much be the best at everything. Like people are good at different things, and I think people have. I think people have limitations. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of the world. But people's limits are high, and why not get better at it? It's like, and if we don't have limitations, why not get better at what you're doing? Actually, I don't see why not. I don't see if you're good at something you can get better at. In fact, the more I think about it, because it's speedrunning, I didn't really seem to have a limit. I just kept getting better at Link to the Past, so maybe I'm wrong in that one. But point is, yeah, you can keep getting better at stuff. So I call it skill theory, and we're gonna talk a little bit about my final for Math 347 that I just took like 20 minutes ago. I did okay on it. I didn't ace it. I definitely didn't get the best grade in the class, but I thought it did okay. And to keep in mind, there was two midterms. The first one I got below average. The second one I got above average. Like the first one I was probably the bottom, like 40% of the class. The second one I was definitely in the top 20% or 30%, 25%. If you're pushing it. And this one, I don't know. I think I did about as good on the second midterm. Possibly better, possibly worse. I'm not really sure. It's hard to tell. The teacher writes weird tests, but yeah, just going over some of the things that I tried to change in the last few weeks. Kind of an addendum on the last video, which I know is sideways. But so one thing I was trying to do a lot better is be more critical about true false questions and answer them more formulaically. I did that. I thought it would go a lot better. I definitely got 2 of the true false questions wrong, or I definitely got 1 of them wrong. I probably got 2 of them wrong, so I was a little bit bummed by that, but I showed a lot of work, and like, based on the teacher's grading style, I know how he grades. If you say false, but you get the right answer, he gives you most of the credit. Or if you show a lot of work and you say false and you're really, really close to the answer, he gives you quite a bit of credit for that. So I definitely got a good amount of partial credit on both those questions, and it's possible I only got 1 wrong. So small chance I got 0 wrong, but yeah, it's possible I only got 1 wrong. So I'm pretty happy about that. That went better. I wasted too much time, I think, on one of the true false questions, which was frustrating. And then on the proofs, so the proofs went a lot better than I've ever done. I can't quite remember all the proofs, but one of the proofs I just full on got wrong. Like, I just kind of jobbed it. In fact, I would say 2 of the proofs I definitely got like at most half credit on. So I missed like 5 points. Just missed 5 points total out of there, or at least 5 points. And then I did nothing for the extra credit, which sucks. But yeah, I just ran out of time. And then so 2 of the proofs I got right, but like they weren't written well. She might knock a point off. But yeah, I actually did those ones pretty cleanly. So I think it depends how other people in the class do them. Like if nobody does them cleanly and I did them right but not clean, I probably get full credit. But if other people are doing them like really clean, I don't think I get full credit. So, but I did pretty good on those ones. So I mean, I need a 28 out of 40 to pass. It's out of 40 points. I definitely got at least, just adding it up, 14 plus. Shoot, I don't know. I definitely got at least 22 points. That's not including like partial credit. So then I think I got another 9 points of partial credit. So yeah, I think I possibly got like a 31 out of 40, which is good. That's kind of where I got on the second midterm. So I definitely pass class. Small chance I don't pass the class. I mean, if I don't, I'm not too worried about it because it's a hard class, and honestly, I get to take it again, which I think is really fun. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, the proofs went a lot better. That's what I want to talk about here. I put a lot of effort into redoing how I do proofs, and when I did these proofs, I definitely was sticking to my formula where write out what the hypothesis also means, because these like what are the definitions of what are the hypothesis? Write out each point, and then write out equivalent statements of each point of the hypothesis. Do the same thing with the conclusion. So you can write out the conclusion, write out equivalent statements of what the conclusion means, and then try to write a proof. And then it needs 2 things. And one, it needs to use each point of the hypothesis. So if you start writing this proof out or structuring this proof out, and you're like clearly not using part of the hypothesis, you're just doing it wrong. So scrap it. Like, you're doing it totally wrong. Number 2 is like if you kind of end up nowhere, you're doing it wrong. Just pick something else. That's not true for like really complex proofs, but solving proof questions is very different than like actually writing, like figuring out proofs or like real math. like real, genuine, like, in math where you're like discovering new things. I think writing proofs can be as complicated as they can be. Hypotheses are unknown. Like, these things are really complicated. But in math classes, that's not the case. Like, teachers don't write bogus hypothesis statements. They're going to write 3 points in the hypothesis. Every single one of those points is necessary for the proof. In fact, so if you write a proof and only uses 2 of the statements, you did it wrong. Or if you write in a proof and you're clearly not using one of the statements, you did it wrong. So it's like you need to use every single point. And then also they're very, very straightforward. Like proofs are straightforward if the argument makes sense. Like there's a lot of proofs that are totally incredibly difficult to grasp. You're never going to see this on the test, at least undergrad. And I would even argue master's school, or math. I would even argue like for a master's degree. I don't really, I just don't see teachers writing super difficult proofs on time tests unless it's like one question or like 2 questions. To me it seems like they are like you can't approach them or you can't solve them for like just your average student. So I don't know, we'll see. But so I did a lot better than that. I 2 of the questions I had no idea how to solve them and barely knew they meant. I just wrote out the hypothesis, wrote out what it meant, wrote out the conclusion, wrote out what the conclusion also meant, and then I looked at it for like 3 seconds. I was like, oh, you know what? This makes sense actually. And then I like started writing and I was like, oh yeah, this is actually why it works. So I wasn't very clean. I think if I wasn't timed, like as a homework question, I would have got full credit on that for sure. But it was a test question, so it wasn't super clean, which just sucks. 2 of the questions were like that. I mean, I went into it, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just kind of wrote out each statement, what it meant, alternative forms of what it meant, double check the algebra, and then it just worked. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. So then 2 of the questions, like the first question, I knew how to do it, but like I wrote it out and I was like, this is wrong and like too complicated. So I just figured he's gonna give me a few points of credit. I was in the right formula. I think I was doing the right thing, but like I got confused. It just didn't make sense to me, which is a shame because that definitely could have been free credit. I mean, it could have been a free question. Maybe I was doing it wrong and there's like a simpler way to do it, but I think I just kind of flubbed it. And then the second question, the last proof, because there's 4 proof questions. So the first one I flubbed, I got like at most half credit. 3 and 4 I thought I did really well. And then number 2, I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, no, I can't remember what it was. I remember I didn't do well on it. I like got an answer, but I kind of had to like fudge some things there. So I think I got probably half credit on that. But yeah, based on how the teacher grades, because like I try to do the midterms or like redo the midterms again, because I think it's important for like taking finals. I think it's really important because you learn how the teacher grades and you learn what he's going to give you half credit for, what he's going to give you full credit for. You learn what he's looking for, like what he does and doesn't like. Like you really learn that stuff well. So I think like definitely got half credit on these questions, and that means I got 15 out of 20 on the last page, or maybe like somewhere between like 11 and 15 out of 20. First page I got 8 out of 8, and then the second page I got at least 6 out of 12. So if you just add up like 11 plus 6 is 17 plus 8 is 25. I only need 3 more points out of like 9 possible on page 1. I guess out of 4 possible on page 1, and I would say 5 possible on page 2. I only need 3 of those points, so I think I'd pass likely. But I mean, what else is there? I have a final tomorrow. I'm again going to have to redo the test. Like the number one thing I need to do to practice for this final is redo the midterms, just to learn the grading style, learn what he's looking for, learn how he writes questions. Like that's huge, because the truth is like I wish I was better at math, but I need to pass the test, and like how the teacher writes the test is like a big deal. So we're going to get good at that skill. It's not exactly math, but we have to get good at that skill too. It's kind of silly, but so that's what I'm gonna do for the next 6 hours, and then I'm probably gonna try to retouch up on. I think it's important too, because if you learn how the teacher writes questions, you don't even have to study everything. You just have to study what he's gonna write a question for. I was surprised, because this teacher never uses the same question. Like on a midterm, he has 9 questions, and 3 of them are just like write a definition of something. He always changes it. It's always different definitions for the midterms and then the practice midterm. Like the practice is never the same as the final. But on this one, the practice there was a definition in the practice midterm that was the same as the definition in the final. I was surprised by that, but I memorized it anyway just because it takes 2 seconds, and I actually like this stuff. I like memorizing this stuff. That went really well. So yeah, like a lot went well. I think the one thing in the class I didn't do well on was the first midterm, which I didn't study for, and it gets replaced by my final grade. So this grade is 65% of my grade, or this final 65% of my grade, and like whether I pass the class or not is pretty much hinged on it. The first final I got a 14 out of 30 for reference. The second one I got a 19.5 out of 30. So like I need above a 28 out of 40, and yeah, I think I got it. So yeah, just going to. I guess I'll just wrap this video up. Just going to. Oh yeah, this is so funny. The guy next to me was cheating the whole test. Like he just had his phone on the side. I may have said this. Oh, I may have said this. But yeah, it was just like kind of funny and like it was just weird and like halfway through the test, like the teacher comes by and he asks the teacher like, "Oh, can I get more scratch paper?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And then like as he gets up, he puts his phone in his pocket. I guess to like hide his phone because he's like worried about that. I don't even know how much he cheated. Like these like proof questions. Like proofs on tests I've noticed are like never online. Like you can't Google them. They're like not online. I've tried Googling my midterm answers. They're like not online. So I don't even know what he's cheating for. Like maybe the definitions, and then maybe he's just curious or needed ideas. I really don't know, but I don't even know like why he was cheating or like what he was cheating for. He's 100% going to get expelled for that. Like he was obviously cheating, and he's clearly cheating on the midterms too, and obviously he's cheated in other classes, and like there's no way this guy knew what he was doing. Like there's no way that's they're not going to expel him. I mean, I would for sure expel a student for that, especially like more serious classes. Like if you're not a math major and you're cheating in like math 101 or math 111 or whatever, and you get like a C minus in the class, like they might not expel you. You know, they punish you for sure, but they might not expel you. But like you're a math major and you're in like you're near the end of your degree, and like you're cheating pretty aggressively. Like yeah, they're clearly. I mean, they don't. That's not okay. So yeah, that was. I've never actually seen that. Like I tons of my friends would cheat in community college and high school, of course. And it usually it's trivial stuff, or like the tests are kind of designed to like you like kind of it was kind of like obvious. But I've never like in a more serious environment seen people cheat before. So yeah, I thought that was pretty jacked up. I don't know what he was doing. Like I don't know if he can. And he like I looked at him. I saw him put his phone like distinctly look at his phone in his pocket, and he did the whole test with one hand. The other hand is under the table. I'm like, dude, you're just fucking lame. So I look over at him. He's like looking at his phone, and then I'm like, I'm just like, I'm done with this. I'm tired of like looking at this guy cheat. So I go to the teacher, just tell the teacher. He's like, okay, thanks. And then at the end of the class, because I left last, I talked to the teacher again. He's like, yeah, I saw him cheat too. This is like, all right, dude, get out of here. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys later.